mutated beetles and felt a sense of pity, wanting to lend a helping hand. However, Yi Qijing firmly refused, coldly stating, "Counselor Chun, you should reconsider your good intentions. We can barely take care of ourselves." They chose the wrong means of transportation and must pay the price for their foolishness. Besides, their presence might help attract the attention of these monsters, aiding our escape. Chapter 27. The invitation of the awakened Qianlan lowered her head, knowing Yi Qijing had a point. They were in no position to help others. "Wait! Look at that vehicle!" Someone suddenly shouted. "What the heck, is that a car?" The other students, who were desperately fighting off the mutated beetles, exclaimed. Qianlan and Yi Qijing glanced over, stunned. The vehicle they had just been discussing whether to assist had accelerated past them, leaving them far behind. Speeding away with a swarm of crazed mutated beetles in pursuit, disappearing into the depths of the dark urban area. Yi Qijing's expression stiffened, finding it quite amusing in hindsight. They had debated whether to help, yet the other party didn't need their assistance at all. They had simply left them in the dust. Now only left to eat their dust. Qianlan also wore a complicated expression, looking oddly at the vehicle. If she wasn't mistaken, that acceleration flame from the nitrogen boost seemed oddly familiar. At the campus area, near supermarket number 2. No, that couldn't be right. It was impossible. That was an electric vehicle, a small sedan. Soon, Qianlan snapped back to reality, her palms growing cold as she knocked down the mutated beetles climbing onto the bus. Struggling to advance through the swarm. After navigating through 2 more streets, they finally shook off the beetles behind them. Wang Cheng, however, gradually slowed down and turned to the side. He recognized this area as well. It was near Haiqing University, at the Pingsong Shopping Center, a medium-sized complex. In the night, who knew what terrifying monsters lurked in the city? Wang Cheng decided against moving further into the darkness, and with the energy reserves gradually depleting, he prepared to enter the underground parking garage beneath the shopping center to rest. The garage was less crowded, and there should be no monsters around. The journey ahead was uneventful, and they safely entered the garage. The surroundings were primarily areas where mutated beetles roamed, with no other mutated creatures present. The underground parking garage was dimly lit as Wang Cheng drove in. He quickly noticed several red dots on the thermal radar, and as he approached, he discovered a group of survivors hiding in the security room. They seemed to have been there for several days, looking somewhat disheveled, armed with fire axes and various weapons. As Wang Cheng and his group drew closer, the survivors stood up in the security room, watching them warily through the glass window. From any angle, the security room seemed like a good choice for resting. It was not only enclosed, but also had a comfortable temperature, especially during the cold late-night hours of the underground garage. Su Xinghai jumped out of the car, intending to negotiate for entry into the security room. But they were met with refusal. The leader of the survivors, the mall manager, holding a fire axe, looked cold and vigilant. "This is ours. You can't come in." They had locked the security room's anti-theft door from the inside. Zhang Chao was somewhat indignant. "Come on, I'm not here to rob you or harm you. There's plenty of space in there. What harm would it do to let us in?" He sighed. "Forget it, we'll rest outside. It's a bit cold. But if something happens, we can get to the car quickly." Su Xinghai shook his head, for some reason. His face appeared pale and sickly as he walked towards Wang Cheng. Wang Cheng nodded, drove a bit further, and found a corner backed by a triangular wall to stop the car. He didn't want to provoke unnecessary conflict. His level 1 battleship was fine for escaping, but it was too small for all 3 of them to rest comfortably. Fortunately, they parked near an unclaimed off-road vehicle. Wang Cheng injected a serum, gaining incredible strength. And while Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao weren't looking, he easily pulled open the locked car door. The spot they chose to rest was not far from the security room, allowing them to see the movements of the people inside. It was essential to be cautious, so Wang Cheng specifically picked this location where everyone could see each other, ensuring that no one would have any ill intentions. If they did, it would be noticed immediately. The 3 had a light meal and discussed resting for a while. Wang Cheng decided to rest in his battleship, while Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao would take turns resting in the off-road vehicle. Since this wasn't a dormitory, they agreed that 2 would keep watch while 1 slept. Rarely, Su Xinghai didn't volunteer for the first watch. Instead, he wanted to rest and crawled into the off-road vehicle to sleep. Zhang Chao, feeling relaxed, touched Wang Cheng's vehicle and said, "Bro, where did you get this car? It's amazing. It just survived a rough ride and being chased by mutated beetles, and it hardly has any scratches despite the paint being scraped off." Wang Cheng smiled silently. Just then, more vehicle sounds echoed in the underground garage. A dilapidated bus drove in. It was the student council school bus. They had managed to escape from the terrifying tide of mutated beetles, but compared to Wang Cheng and his group, they looked very disheveled. The bus was nearly unrecognizable, inside and out covered in the corpses of mutated beetles and large pools of human blood. Even the doors were twisted and deformed, unable to be opened. With a swift kick, Qianlan forcefully opened the car door. They followed the lights in this direction and parked nearby, while Wang Cheng and the survivors in the security room watched this scene unfold. The manager in the security room, holding a fire axe, was visibly surprised to see that Chunlan was an awakened one, his expression shifting rapidly. However, Chunlan paid little attention to this. She was the first to get out of the car, quickly assessed the situation, and reassured everyone to rest and treat their injuries. The manager suddenly opened the security room door and walked over. He had previously ignored them, but now seemed eager to approach. Zhang Chao felt a bit displeased and stood by the off-road vehicle with Wang Cheng to observe. The underground parking lot was eerily quiet, and even from a distance, they could hear what the manager was saying. He approached Chunlan, his earlier wariness towards Wang Cheng and the others completely gone, replaced by a smile. Beautiful lady. Are you an awakened one? That's wonderful. We've always hoped to meet an awakened one. Can we join you? You can rest in our security room. It's warm and has hot water. This manager clearly had a shallow disposition, disregarding Wang Cheng and the others as ordinary students. But upon discovering Chunlan was an awakened one, he eagerly tried to ingratiate himself, despite the state of their school bus. The awakened possess abilities far beyond ordinary people, and being associated with them would greatly enhance one's chances of survival, so everyone wanted to cling to the awakened ones. In contrast, Wang Cheng and the others were in a weak position and naturally attracted little of the manager's attention. Unfortunately for him, Chunlan frowned at his advances, obviously displeased, while Yiqi stepped forward and firmly declined. Wang Cheng and Zhang Chao merely watched silently, but Chunlan glanced over and recognized Wang Cheng, her expression turning somewhat peculiar. The manager attempted to be charming again, but was promptly rejected by Chunlan once more, leaving him embarrassed yet unwilling to show it, and he awkwardly walked away. Not having succeeded in his attempt, he didn't want to offend the awakened one. Seeing this, Wang Cheng also stopped observing and began to focus on his own tasks with Zhang Chao. After settling the students, Chunlan thought for a moment and then approached Wang Cheng. Under the astonished gazes of the manager and the survivors in the security room, Chunlan and Yiqi conferred briefly before approaching Wang Cheng. She extended her delicate hand and sincerely invited, I didn't expect this vehicle is also yours. We've encountered each other twice, so this must be fate. Would you like to join us? We can act together. The chances of survival will be higher. Having witnessed Wang Cheng's strength, Chunlan was aware that he had a firearm. Although she didn't know how his bike had transformed into this small electric vehicle, she had just observed that Wang Cheng's vehicle was quite impressive as well, seemingly modified. If she could bring someone like him on board, it would be a tremendous help for their student council's convoy. The manager looked incredulous. With so many people here, several strong men armed and controlling the security room and supplies, how could the awakened one not only refuse their offer to join, but instead invite those three seemingly ordinary college students? What was she thinking? Was she just a teacher, only concerned about her students? Could she really not grasp the situation even in the apocalypse? Those three foolish students looked weak and could only drag them down, putting everyone at risk. The manager muttered. Wang Cheng was also somewhat surprised. He didn't expect that the awakened one, whom everyone wanted to curry favor with, would invite him instead. But before he could respond, he suddenly heard Zhang Chao from the off-road vehicle, who was preparing to switch shifts with Su Xinghai, anxiously shout, Second brother, come quickly, the boss has a fever. Boss has a fever, 38.6 degrees. Zhang Chao's words completely interrupted Wang Cheng's thoughts. He glanced at Chunlan, stopped talking, and rushed into the vehicle to check on Su Xinghai. Sure enough, Su Xinghai's forehead was burning hot, his eyes slightly open, and though he was conscious, he looked very weak, still mumbling, I'm fine, third brother, second brother, I'm fine, I'll just drink some water, just some water, you all go rest. I'll take the watch. Take the watch, my foot, you need to rest. Wang Cheng frowned. He had sensed something was wrong with Su Xinghai earlier, but thought it was just the tension from fleeing. Now it seemed he had already started to run a fever. Chunlan did not leave and came over to check as well, frowning and saying, No, we need to get a medicine right away. In this environment, if the fever continues, it could lead to serious problems, and there's no place to go to the hospital. I'll help you see if anyone over there has any medicine. It's fine, I have medicine. Wang Cheng was short on guns, bullets, and energy, but he was not lacking in supplies. Before the apocalypse, he had bought a bunch of food and medicine, including fever reducers and anti-inflammatory drugs, which were crucial. He certainly wouldn't overlook them and quickly went to get the medicine. But he also took another look at Chunlan. What she had just said was not a joke. She genuinely wanted to help them find the precious medicine. Zhang Chao was holding down the restless Su Xinghai and said, Damn it. Is it because your previous injuries haven't healed? Boss, you've been feeling unwell for a long time. Why didn't you say anything? I'm okay, it's nothing. I want to drag you down. Just give me some medicine. I'll be fine. Su Xinghai's eyes were half open, and his speech was a bit slurred. At that moment, Wang Cheng returned with ibuprofen. Not only ibuprofen, but also other assorted items like Ban Lan Gen and vitamins. So many that Qianlong was taken aback. Did you just raid a pharmacy? Wang Chun